Welcome to CTVR 7, Cross-Cultural Cinema. I'm your host and instructor, Maria Mayanzet. I'm very excited about the journey that we're going to be embarking on, looking at a diverse array of feature films, engaging in dialogue on discussion board. I'll show you how to navigate all that a little later. But first, I'd like to talk about American cinema. This class is going to focus on how Hollywood and its movies represent race, gender, culture, and sexuality. So we're going to be going on a very exciting ride. And we're also going to be looking at these films from our point of view. But maybe our point of view may change by what we see in these films. Maybe we will reflect and think about how certain prejudices and stereotypes are perpetuated by what we see in the movie. The impact made by artistic expression has to do with the audience. There's a communion between the audience and the artistic expression. So when you're looking at these movies, I want you to think about how they're impacting you, what they make you think about, how you feel about how different ethnicities and genders are treated in the movies. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me at mmayanzet, M-A-Y-E-N-Z-E-T, at saddleback.edu. Go to saddleback.edu. At the top of the menu board, you'll see Canvas. That's the online system that we use for this class. Log in using your first initial and last name and your 4-digit password plus 2 zeros. Then log in. You'll find the Cinematic Melting Pot, Cross-Cultural Cinema. Click on that window, and you'll be on the home page. On the home page, you'll find the syllabus and weekly schedule, course materials, October 18th, which is our first day of class. I'll zoom in on that. And week 1. Week 1 will give you the breakdown of everything you need to accomplish in terms of assignments and movie viewing. Week 1, you'll click to movie links. And the movie selections for week 1 are The Artist, or Memento, or Pulp Fiction. When you click on this on the menu, the movie should play. If it doesn't, copy and paste the URL, and you should be able to access the film. Discussion board 1 through 4, go to discussions. How do we find discussions? You scroll up and you will see a side menu. Discussions. And that will open up discussion board for week 1. You'll be answering discussion board 1, 2, 3, and 4 for week 1. The responses are due on October 26th. All the posted questions will be uploaded a week before the due date. There are no extensions for this assignment, and this is part of your participation in the course. Discussion board, your essay, and exams will culminate in getting a good grade if you stay on task.
You knew you weren't going to stand on a foggy runway in a trench coat watching Ingrid Bergman go up a gangplank, you know, with somebody else, but it just broke your heart watching this. Then you'd go out into the broad daylight of a Midwestern street or something, and the distance between your life and that life was enormous, and that was part of its success.
The success of motion pictures turned America into a nation of moviegoers. At the height of Hollywood in the mid-40s, 90 million Americans went to the movies every week. Audiences quickly developed preferences for the kinds of movies they wanted to see.
This woman wants more musical shows. These boys want more westerns. These girls, more love stories. This man, more adventure. Others want more travel, comedy, mystery, romance, more everything.
It had to be you. It had to be you. I've wandered around and finally found somebody who...
I am very strongly influenced by the films I saw as a kid, and if you want to call them classical or traditional or old-fashioned, depending on your point of view, I'm sort of drawn to those forms, and I try to stick to them, just in terms of form. When I grew up, love stories were dependent upon obstacles. And the great love stories were dependent upon non-overcomable obstacles.
Inside of us, we both know you belong with Victor. You're part of his work, the thing that keeps him going. If that plane leaves the ground and you're not with him, you'll regret it. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon and for the rest of your life.
But what about us?
We'll always have Paris. We didn't have, we lost it until you came to Casablanca. We got it back last night.
I don't remember a great love story in which the two people got together. The love stories I always remember were always tragic love stories.
No. He's looking at you, kid.
Most of the films I've done have all been sort of unhappy love stories of one form or another. There is a kind of satisfying sadness that is every bit as pleasurable to feel as the sort of humorous, giddy laughter that happens with a comedy or a happy ending film.
Hello, I'm John Lithgow. Welcome to American cinema. At the edge of Hollywood and beyond, new filmmakers are making some of the most interesting films in America today, films that have made Hollywood stand up and watch. These filmmakers work against great odds on shoestring budgets. If they succeed, they can get a chance to make Hollywood pictures, like Quentin Tarantino and Pulp Fiction. But going Hollywood has its price, one that some of these filmmakers won't pay. In this program, narrated by Frances McDormand, we will look at some visions from the edge.
Independent films are the most important things there are in the USA. They're the lifeblood of the filmmaking industry. They set the new standards, and they set the trends, and they have the wildest ideas and the most interesting stories, and they're usually the best of the pictures in the country.
You're not Mr. Purple. Some guy has some other job as Mr. Purple. You're Mr. Pink.
These independent directors have their own vision, and they want to create a movie that reflects their vision. That's the most important thing.
I think we're all a little bit crazy. I think that all of us have been traumatized by something or other, and then we have this need, this obsession to tell stories and to rework the world within our own frame guidelines.
There are certain independent filmmakers who are independent because they cannot make the movies they want to make within the studio system.
If the movies work and they make a profit, then the studios are going to be banging on the doors of those independent filmmakers saying, hey, why don't you make a movie for us? You know, I mean, we want that money that you made for those guys or made for yourself. We want that money, you know.
In mainstream Hollywood, a studio picture averages $42 million in production and marketing. An independent film can cost a fraction of that amount. In order to survive, major studios have to produce films that appeal to a mass audience. But independent filmmakers with lower budgets can take risks that Hollywood won't, producing films that are original and personal. How independent films are made varies, but filmmakers on the edge of Hollywood all have one overriding desire: to make their films on their own terms.
It's very, very difficult for something new to come from within Hollywood. It's almost impossible. I think it has to come from the margins.
Action. Spike Lee.
Made with a final budget of approximately $175,000, She's Gotta Have It, Spike Lee's first feature film, received national attention.
The breadth and scope of the whole thing just seemed like it was a completely new voice, black, white, or any color. And obviously in the world of black film, there hadn't been anything, you know, except for Michael Schultz working from the blaxploitation days, you know, up to Crush Groove, I guess, just around the time that She's Gotta Have It screening occurred. There was nobody else in the black filmmaking community in Hollywood or elsewhere doing anything. So he, you know, it was just, he basically had the field entirely to himself. He invented a field that had, like, disappeared. He reinvented it.
Black Americans have been waiting for a film like this a long time. They never saw black people kissing on the screen or making love. Even the big black stars, Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor, they don't have none of that stuff in their films.
It seems that men are taught not to be in touch with themselves, with their true feelings, but the things that they do say, weak.
You so fine, baby. I drank a tub of your bath water.
I just want to rock your world.
Baby, it's got to be you and me.
Please, baby, please, baby, please, baby, 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 please.
His second film, School Days, an ambitious musical about class and social distinction within the African-American community, garnered his first studio deal with Columbia Pictures. Spike Lee followed School Days with Do the Right Thing, Mo Better Blues, and Jungle Fever. Although his budgets escalated, Lee continued to explore the cultural and socio-political diversity of African Americans.